Hey everybody, Adrian Fontes, Arizona Secretary of State. It is Fridays with Fontes. We've got an amazing Fridays with Fontes for you today. We're going to cover a couple of things. We've got two books. I'm going to cover one later, but the first one, and you're going to like the second one, so stick around for that for sure. The book that I've got in my hand is the recommendation from the Arizona State Library, From Dunbar to Destiny. This is a woman's journey through desegregation and beyond. Shirley Robinson Sprinkles was around in Tucson during desegregation, which actually happened before national desegregation did, down in the public schools. I think it was Tucson Public School District. I don't know for sure. I haven't read the book, confess, which sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. But anyway, Shirley Robinson Sprinkles, this is the book of the week for us for now. So I wanted to chat briefly about that one. And we've got another one I'm going to talk about in just a minute. But first, some America 250 news. As you know, I am the chairman of the America 250 Commission for the state of Arizona, which means we're in charge of putting on the statewide celebrations for the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. We're in the process of updating our website so that the 250 events will come up. Two Lights for Tomorrow is going to be the first event that happens. That's April 18th. That's coming up shortly. We're going to have a big celebration down here at the state capitol. Keep your eyes open the next couple of weeks and follow America 250 AZ on all social media accounts. That's America 250 AZ in the meantime. Next, the Arizona Author Series for March 13th is going to be Dr. Laura K. Munoz. She's going to be talking about her book, Desert Dreams, Mexican Arizona and the Politics of Educational Equality. That was going to be fun. You got to sign up for that. So make sure to follow the link that Michaela is going to put. You're going to put it here, or you're going to put it over here?
On the bottom.
You're going to put it on the bottom? Yeah. Follow this link. Sign up for that. Dr. Munoz's book, Desert Dreams, is going to be part of the next bit of the Arizona Author Series. We're super excited about that. And then a reminder, we've got the Talking Book Library Open House that's going to happen on March 14th. Should be a lot of fun. We're offering free tours. We might have a couple of special guest speakers and more. If you or anybody that you know benefits from or could benefit from the Talking Book Library, please look up some of those resources and make sure that you get to figuring that stuff out, and then maybe even come down for the tour. More details are to come. Or if you want to bring somebody with you or send somebody this information so they can get down there. The Talking Book Library has been providing services for literally thousands of Arizonans, and we're super proud to continue to push those resources out there for folks who have that kind of a need. And that's kind of it for that stuff. But listen, I've got something super, super special, you guys, that I think you're going to love. We're not going to do questions today for a very particular reason, because we're going to be joined by the preacher himself. Colonel, come on over here. Colonel Richard Tolliver, United States Air Force retired, and the author of Black Wings Over Arizona. A little bit of a tight squeeze here.
It's like a
but this
cockpit.
is how, I know, it is like a cockpit? Well, I'm happy. I'm honored to share one with you. Black Wings Over Arizona, including women of the 6888th Central Postal Directory Battalion.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about this book, Colonel.
Well, this book is about the 19 Tuskegee Airmen who came here beginning in 1945, after the war ended.
Right after the war, yeah.
Yes, we had a pipeline at Tuskegee, Alabama, at Moulton Field, with pilots being trained to go serve overseas, to serve in the military. So when the war ended, they didn't know what to do, so they knew they couldn't spread them out around the South at that time.
Right.
So they thought to send them out west. So go west, young man. And so one of the persons that came here in 1945 was none other than Lincoln Ragsdale, who has a history in this state going all the way back. And after Lincoln, about 10 others were signed. They were signed at Luke Air Force Base, Williams Air Force Base, Tucson, and even all the way down. Some of them were working in the South at the base where the Buffalo Soldiers were.
Yeah,
And
down at
so,
Fort Huachuca.
yes, Fort Huachuca.
Fort Huachuca, yeah.
So they stayed. Once the war was over, most of them got out of the military and they decided to stay here in Arizona. They built homes, they started businesses, went back to school, became educators, doctors, lawyers, all the things that all of the Tuskegee Airmen across the country were doing, they did here, and they homesteaded here in Arizona.
Yeah.
So for 79 years, these men and their families lived here. Nobody ever told the story. But we knew that they were here because we had things like the Tuskegee Airmen Inc. We had a national in 2005. I came here and we started the chapter.
Sure.
Out of Luke Air Force Base, 2006, we had the Archer Ragsdale, Arizona Tuskegee Airmen chapter. And why the Archer Ragsdale? Archer was the first Chief Master Sergeant assigned as a Tuskegee Airman down in Tucson, and then Ragsdale was, of course, the man here.
So that and it's an amazing set of stories.
Yes.
And is that what what inspired you to put this work into action? Because it's obvious, you had to have spent some time putting this together.
We have in our chapter we had some descendants. We had kids, children, or grandchildren. They had records. Some of them had partial records, stories, and so forth. But I started a process of gathering the information. Some of them gathered information from all across the country because we included in the book either someone who had a family here or who had transitioned here, and they may have been at other bases. And so we have, out of the 19, some of them were elsewhere, but they have families here and homesteaded here. So we got the information, and of course I was privileged to start my interaction with Tuskegee Airmen way back in Alabama at Tuskegee by the original guys 67 years ago. That's a long time ago.
No kidding. So we're talking here with Colonel Richard Tolliver, retired United States Air Force. His book Black Wings Over Arizona, a unique piece.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit of what folks are going to find as they flip through these pages here.
First, you're going to get a story, a snapshot. Who were the Tuskegee Airmen?
Yeah.
How did they come about? Who helped make it happen? Okay, and then strangely enough, two women, were involved in actually, after they were trained, to get them into the war back in 1943. One of them was the president's wife, Eleanor Roosevelt, the First Lady. The other one was a black educator called Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. They got together in a friendship, and it was Dr. McLeod Bethune who got the president's wife to stop in and see what's happening where those black men are learning to fly. But when these two ladies got together, the Tuskegee Airmen had been training for 3 years. But when the two women got involved and went directly to the president, he ordered them to go overseas.
Yeah.
So that's how they went overseas in the beginning. So, but in the book are these stories. There's each of the individuals has a story and a story to tell. Mm-hmm. The families, the wives, the children, what he did, and those kinds of things.
Sure.
And so you'll get those stories. And then later, a third of the book, because we had one of the original women from the 688 in our local chapter, I knew that the story needed to be told. So we sort of ended the book with the story of the 6888 women, because we had one of the two surviving women here in Arizona. She's currently living in Tempe at 104, going on 105.
You're kidding.
She's as sharp as a shack.
Yeah.
She's sharp. If I'm going out of town, she'll call me in Washington, D.C. to find out how I'm doing, or when am I coming back, or whatever. But no, a major retired friend, McClendon, is in the book. When you open it up, some of our people have been involved with her life here. And you'll see near the end of the book, you'll find stories about her and what she did and how she built her life. And so throughout the book, you'll find stories of men and women and children, these great patriots who served the country during World War II and after World War II. And so it tells a great story. It's a short story for each one of them, but it's a very heart-rending and a heart-fulfilling story that you read about them.
And you've got like a great amount of photographs and
Yes.
illustrations, folks in uniform, folks after their service,
Yes.
family photos. You've also got some great photos of memorabilia and some of the patches that were worn.
That's right.
So, for example, the patch of the
332nd
group. Yep.
the fighter squadron,
Yep.
and so forth. And then, of course, in that book, we have two men from Arizona, a Hispanic American, George Biggs, who was celebrated here about 5 or 6 years ago at the plaza, right here at the Capitol.
Yeah.
But he was from Nogales. His father.
You know I'm from Nogales.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I did not know that.
I just found out the other day.
So-
No, okay.
Well, I wrote. It's a beautiful story about George Biggs from Nogales because he was at first. His father was in the army, and then his family was all involved. As you read the story, and then they all gathered, and he fought his way through the barriers, and he was a navigator. First on the B-26, B-25, and ultimately on the B-47 and the B-52. So he was in Vietnam, okay, from all the way
No
back.
kidding.
Yeah, and so from World War II to Korean War and Vietnam.
Couldn't get enough, huh? How about
And
that?
he is rooted in Nogales. He has a daughter who is a PhD professor down at the University of Arizona.
Okay.
He has a grandson here in town, and he had another daughter who passed away a few years ago. Rosario Biggs was her name. Rosario Biggs. She had a maiden name, but she was very, very much involved in the state and perpetuating the legacy of her father, the Tuskegee Airmen. She was just a real go-getter, and she died ever so young. But he left a legacy here, George Biggs.
Well,
and I had the privilege of meeting him back about 20 years ago.
That's a great story, and a whole bunch of great stories. Black Wings over Arizona. Colonel Richard Tolliver, U.S. Air Force retired. What an honor to have a chance to sit with you and chat about
Thank you.
chat about this book. Folks, go out and pick yourselves up a copy. Learn about some of the important history, not just of Arizona, but of the American military, and specifically the storied history of the Tuskegee Airmen. American history, and it needs to be told. Colonel Tolliver, preacher,
thank you.
An honor from this old Marine.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for doing the work that went into this. That's really going to be special for folks. I appreciate you coming. Hang out once. Oh, I'm not chasing you out of here just yet. Anyway, listen. Our special edition of Fridays with Fontes with Colonel Richard Tolliver here. Really a special moment for us here. Thanks, everybody. I'm Adrian Fontes, Arizona Secretary of State. Make sure you keep on reading. It's a big deal. And as you move into the weekend, I know it's starting to warm up out there. As I say always, even if it's cold, watch your kids around water. Thanks.
Absolutely.